In this video, we can have a look to see how we can go from this layout. And now what we want to do is add the quantity. So you can just add the quantity here and add to basket. So to do that, I'm going to activate the snippet and head back to the website, refresh. And now you'll see that we still have the custom text, but we also now have this quantity button. So that's pretty much what this snippet will do. So if we head over to the snippet, you'll see that it accesses a filter from WooCommerce called the WooCommerce Loop Add to Cart Link filter. And in this filter, what we do is we get the HTML variables and the product variables in these arrays. We bring that in. We then do a product filter to target which products we're going to add this to. So obviously here, the simple product, it is purchasable, it is in stock, and it's not sold individually. And then what we need to do then is add the quantity button. And so we have this form action here, which is the form action, which then includes the product add to cart URL. So the right product gets added. And then here we have the quantity input. So this function here will bring in the quantity details. And then finally, we just have the button with the add to cart text. So that's pretty much all there is to it. It's really simple. And then once all of that is complete, we then return the HTML. So the product information that we pull in is just to make sure that we can allocate to the correct product, add the correct product to cart, but we're just returning the HTML. So that updates the HTML, and that in turn then updates the button on the page. Now, the other thing that you need to know is that when you do that, there will be some CSS changes. So I'm just going to quickly show you that in the customize here. I just had to make 1 or 2 updates, and you might find the same. So when the initial addition was done, I'll have to include that one as well. All right, so when I initially added the function, I saw that the buttons were a little bit misaligned. So what I did then is I added the following CSS, and basically what it did is I selected the product. First of all, I went to the form display and I changed that to flex, and the flex then lined up the quantity and the add to cart next to each other. What I then did is I set the button width to 100%. And finally, I selected the ordered list product so that I could then set the justify content to spaced between, and that was to push the button to the bottom. So if I zoom out here and I disable the top element, so you'll see this is pretty much the process that I went through. Right, so that's what it looked like. And then to fix it, what I first did is I set the form for the cart to flex, and that pulled the 2 items next to each other. The next thing that I did was set the button to 100%, which is with this piece of CSS. And then the last thing I did to push this down to the bottom so that everything was in alignment then was to access the ordered list, and that pushed it down. So I'll just publish that. So to look at that another way, the first thing was to access the form. So I just inspect there, and I took this form action. You'll see if I display the flex, it's out, and I set that to flex, selected the button, and then the last one then was to set the whole product, which is this select element, and just set that to justify content space between. So it's just in the flex settings then is to look for the space between, and that pushes it down. The other thing that I did though is because I'm only want to apply this to the archive page and I don't want any overlap to the single product page, what I also did is I just prepended those classes with the fact that I'm on the archive page. So if you have a look here, you'll see that I've prepended the class, for example, for the button, and you'll see that we have this post type archive class added in front of the changes to the CSS. And that post type archive, if you scroll up to the body class, you'll see that in the body class we have this post type archive. I only want to apply these settings then to the post type archive page. So that's how I updated and adjusted the CSS. I hope that makes sense. I'll include the code in the comment below the video. Thank you for watching.